All right, welcome to 8.5 day 2. And same thing as before, our goal is to add and subtract rational expressions. And what we did in the previous video or previous lesson was we did like level 1 questions, level 2 questions, right? And so today we're just going to do level 3 in this video. All right, so before we get to that, what makes them really level 3 questions is you're going to have to multiply both of the fractions by something in order to make the denominators match, right? And that's what makes it pretty hard. So to review that process, I just have a fraction one, right? If you feel comfortable, pause the video and see if you can add these two fractions. If you have no idea, maybe ask your parent, see if they know how to do this. Be curious. But at any rate, hopefully you got a chance to try it. Okay, so in order to add these, you need a common denominator. And on this particular question, it's just 15. So if we take this one times 5 and this one times 3, we're kind of multiplying the existing denominators, then we get 15 in both. So this would be 10 fifteenths and 9 fifteenths. Okay, and then you add those together and you get 19 fifteenths. Okay, and then the only other thing is sometimes this fraction will simplify. This one really doesn't. It's technically an improper fraction, but it doesn't simplify. There's nothing that evenly divides 15 and 19. Okay, so we will simplify some on these questions too. All right, so before I get too far into this, these little images, if you've never seen them, these are from Mario. I was trying to figure out what Mario this was, because you guys probably don't even remember this because you're too young, but I found a video here of it. So if you've never seen this, I highly recommend checking this game out. It's pretty sweet. This is Mario 3. Spent a lot of my life playing this video game, not gonna lie, but just thought I'd give you some context here. This guy's obviously a little bit better than me, but all right. At any rate, so back to our question. Uh, we're going to defeat Bowser here, level 3. And so in order to figure out it's hard to tell how to make these denominators match currently. So again, the trick is to factor first and then figure out what you're missing. So the one on the left, it has a GCF of 2. Okay, and then on the right, we're going to factor this where to make the x squared, we use x and x. And then it has to multiply to -6 and add up to -1. So if it's -6, we're going to need one negative number, one positive. This is where all that factoring practice hopefully will help. Get -3 and +2. That should add up to -1 and multiply to -6. All right, so all of that was to figure out what are we missing. So if we look at this denominator on the left, right now that it's factored, right, we kind of cross these out, we factored them. This fraction here, if we look at these two, is just missing the x minus 3. All right, it's got a 2, and it's already got the x plus 2. Okay, and similarly over here, this one is only missing a 2, and then it would match. So basically, we got to figure out what the other one, what it does not have from the other one, right? So like this one has a 2, so this one needs a 2, and that's all it needs, right? This one is missing an x minus 3, right? That is over here, so we need to bring it over there. So kind of look at what is missing from the existing denominator. Okay, and so we have to multiply the top by those same things. So this one x minus 3, and then this one we did times 2. So that would make our numerators, let's see, it would be x squared minus 3x up here. Okay, and then the denominator, I'm going to leave it all in factored form, and you'll see why that matters later. I'm not going to multiply it out. I'm going to write it in a little different order with the times 2 first. Second one will just be a 14. 7 times 2, and then the denominator is the denominator we wanted. Okay, and again, I'm leaving it in factor form. All right, so from here, now the denominators are the same, we can actually add them together. All right, so we are going to have, let's see, x squared minus 3x plus 14, and our denominator stays the same. Okay, and then the final step we want to do on this question is to see if the numerator in particular here, if that factors and cancels at all with the denominator, right? So we can look and say, hey, does this thing factor into two little binomials? and maybe one of them will be x minus 3 or x plus 2, and then it would cancel out. So now we need to multiply to 14 and add up to minus 3. So we need x and x with two negatives. But I don't think this is going to work. The only things that multiply to 14 are 1 and 14, and that doesn't work, and then 2 and 7, and that also doesn't work. Okay, so this one doesn't factor, meaning this is our final answer. Okay, but we should always for sure check, because maybe it will reduce, right? In any fraction question, when you get to the end, let's say your answer was 3/6, you don't leave it like that, you reduce it. So here you need to check if it factors and see if it reduces. This one doesn't, so we are done. We have defeated Mr. Bowser here. Okay, second kind of level 3 type question for you. Again, I would encourage you to pause it, give it a shot, and then check your answer. All right, very similar to the last question, where before we can subtract these, we need to find a common denominator, right? And again, it's hard to tell without factoring. So I'm going to factor this one to x plus 1 and x plus 4. Multiplies to 4 and adds up to 5. And then the second one, you just take out a GCF, which is 3. All right, now we got to look, what are they missing? So we know that they have a matching x minus 1, so that part's good. But then this one on the right needs x plus 4 because it's in the other denominator. And then this denominator here needs the 3 because it's in the other denominator. Right? Which means we have to multiply this top by 3 and then this by x plus 4. All right. So we know our denominator is going to be one monstrously big denominator here that has a 3, has 3 parts. 3 x plus 1 factor and x plus 4, right? And that's going to be the denominator of both of these at this point. This numerator, 3 times 2x, is known as 6x. And then this one we're going to distribute. So we're going to have 2x squared plus 8x. All right. And so now when we subtract, let's see. So I'm going to have 6x minus 2x squared. So we got to minus all of this stuff. So that's going to give us a negative 2x squared. And then we've got to do 6x take away 8x. So that's going to actually be negative 2x. Okay, and our denominator stays the same. Okay, so now I want to see if I can factor and cancel anything from this. So the denominator is already factored apart, which is why we left it that way. I know it's tempting to want to multiply, but we want to leave it that way. And then up top, hey, these have a GCF of negative 2. They both have negative 2, and they also both have x. All right, so if we pull that to the front, we would be left with x here, divide out negative 2 and x, and then plus 1. Ooh, and this is the exciting part. Look at that. So now, in our attempt to master level 3 here, now things are looking kind of nice because these now cancel. Boom, boom. All right, and so we are left with negative 2x on the top, and then just 3, and then x minus 4 on the x plus 4, sorry, on the bottom. Right, and that's it. Right, we were able to cancel it there, factor and cancel, and so our final answer looks like that. All right, that is it for day 2 of 8.5. I think there's another assignment associated with this, so that will be coming on the next day. If you have any questions, please reach out. I can always make more videos if you want help from any of the homework questions or just have general questions. Any complaints, again, matthew.webb@ist728.org. All right, I hope you're all doing well. Take care.